So let us start the today's class on VBT, that is a revision of VBT complex. Before that, let me go through the assumptions what you have already studied in the VBT, because if you know these main things, okay, the assumption part of it, then the things will become easier for you. So what were the assumption? The first assumption is that the metal orbitals are there. The metals will make the orbitals available, okay, for the ligand to come and occupy. So your metals are the one because they have empty orbital. So metals will be keeping their orbitals available for the ligands to come and occupy, okay. But before the ligand comes and occupies, what happens is these metal orbitals are there, no, they will undergo hybridization. That you need to keep in mind, okay. So you can't just take the ligands and put them in the orbital. Before that, they will undergo hybridization. So in that hybrid orbital, the ligand will come and occupy, okay. So metals, these before making it available, okay, they will undergo hybridization. Before that, they will undergo hybridization, and after hybridization, whatever hybrid orbitals you are getting, okay, whatever hybrid orbitals we get, in that hybrid orbitals, the ligand will come and occupy, okay. In this, ligands will come and occupy, okay. Now, how many orbitals are they going to make available? How many orbitals will be made available? That depends on how many ligands are going to come, okay. Suppose if there are 4 ligands going to come, that means the coordination number is 4, no? So that means 4 orbitals will undergo hybridization, okay. 4 orbitals you have to hybridize. Remember, how many ligands are there directly attached to the metal? So many orbitals we have to hybridize. So here if 4 is there, 4 orbitals we will hybridize. If 6 are there, okay, you will make 6 orbitals to undergo hybridization. Okay, so that is about the metal part. And then I told you here itself that whatever orbitals are undergoing hybridization, the remaining orbitals, the new orbitals what we get, those are called as hybrid orbitals. And into this hybrid orbitals, the ligand will come and occupy, okay. And once the hybridization is over, these particular orbitals will have a geometry, okay. When the ligands come and approach them, they will be approaching in different direction. Based on that, the spatial arrangement of the whole complex will be different, okay. So suppose if you see there is sp3 hybridization, okay, if there is sp3 hybridization, remember the geometry is tetrahedral, okay. So if it is sp3, after you have taken the hybridization part, you will see that what orbitals you have mixed together. So if you see it is sp3, remember the geometry will be tetrahedral. If it is dsp2, then it will be square planar. If it is dsp2, square planar. Okay, now if it is d2sp3 or sp3d2, okay, d2sp3 or sp3d2, because only so many geometries you will come across. So if you find these two types of hybridization, in that total orbitals you can make out total 6 orbitals have undergone hybridization in d2sp3 as well as in sp3d2. Then the geometry what they are going to occupy will be octahedral, okay. So if it is d2sp3, sp3d2, remember it should be octahedral, okay. So these are like the initial part of it. Now once this is over, then you have to see whether the d orbital occupied is the inner orbital or the outer orbital. Like we have to tell what type of complex it is, okay. Suppose if you find the d orbital occupied by the metal is inner one, then they are called as inner orbital complex, okay. Suppose if there is, you have to identify now what type of complex they are, okay. So if it is dsp2, you can see d orbital is inside, okay, then they are called as inner orbital complex. This will be called as inner orbital complex. I'll just write O and C, okay. Suppose if the d orbital you're getting it outside, like sp3d2, in this case you can see the last d orbital is been occupied, then they are called as outer orbital complex, okay. This will be called as outer orbital complex, that you can identify from here. Okay, and inner orbital complex is also called as low spin complex. Outer orbital complex is called as high spin complex. Okay, these are called as low spin and the outer one is called as high spin complex. That depends on the number of electrons. High spin means the number of unpaired electrons are larger, so the spin is more in them. Low spin because the number of unpaired electrons are less. Okay, and now this when the ligand come and approach, the ligands are of two types. Okay, so when the ligand approach this metal atom, we will see that the ligand have like different strength in them. Okay, so there are two kinds of ligands you will come across. One is called as strong field ligand, one is the strong one, and the other one is weak field ligand. So here I told you this information has to be given to us because these are the assumption part, and there was no clarity about in the VBT assumption whether the ligands are strong field or weak field. So this comes under the drawback also. So we are now remembering by ourselves that strong field ligands, which are the strong field ligands you need to keep in mind. One is ammonia and the other one is cyanide, because you have to study only 4 complex. In that, ammonia and cyanide are the strong one, and then Cl and F are the weak field ligand. Okay. Now, what do you mean by strong field ligand? Strong field ligand means when the ligand come and approach the metal atom, in them the electrons which are present, they will start pairing up. Okay, I told you, this is like a strong wind you can imagine. When the strong wind comes, okay, then everything will get collected to one particular side. Okay, everything will start getting accumulated at one side. So here the unpaired electrons which were singly present like that, okay, they will start pairing up, and this goes against the Hund's rule. Okay, when the strong field ligands are approaching the metal atom. So remember, strong field ligand means electrons will pair up. Electrons will pair up when they are approaching the metal atom. And suppose if the ligand is a weak field ligand, like we can see here chloride and fluoride, you can even remember the spectrochemical series. Okay, in that you will get a correct idea which are strong field and which are weak field ligand. Okay, but then for your complex only these 4 are important. So I told you this, you remember correctly. So when the weak field ligands, electrons will not pair up. When they come, electrons will not pair up. Okay, so that is about the type of the ligand which are approaching. And then the next thing what we need to find out from here is the magnetic property. Okay, whether the particular complex is paramagnetic or they are diamagnetic. So that we need to find out. So here, suppose if you like see, there is unpaired electron present. Okay, if there is unpaired electron present, where are you going to see this? Okay, unpaired electrons you have to check in the metal. Remember, always in the metal orbital, not in the ligand. Okay, because if you go and check in the ligand, you will find always one ligand will get 2 electron pair. Okay, so that will not be correct because every time they will be diamagnetic only. What you are checking is about the metal orbitals. Okay, so if you find in the metal there is unpaired electron, then that means they are paramagnetic. Unpaired electron means they will be paramagnetic in nature. Okay, but you find there are paired electrons. Okay, electrons are paired. Okay, electrons are paired or paired electrons are present in the metal, then they will be diamagnetic in nature. Okay, then they will be diamagnetic in nature. So this much if you can remember about VBT, that would be more than enough. One is I told you about the metal, and only 2 types of metal is given to you. One is the cobalt and the other one is nickel. Okay, it's better if you can remember the atomic number of cobalt and nickel. Cobalt atomic number is 27 and nickel atomic number is 28. Okay, they will not provide you atomic numbers and all. Because you are in second year, you have studied D block elements. Okay, so they expect you at least to remember the atomic number of cobalt and nickel. And again, only 2 metals are there. So you can remember easily 27 and then 28. Okay, so cobalt and then nickel. I hope the VBT part is clear to everyone. So based on this, we will go for solving the problem. Okay, that is one complex is given to us. We need to explain the bonding using VBT. So I'm taking the first complex, that is CONH3 6. Okay, this I'm going to explain. Now, always when the metal is given to you, first when these complexes are given to you, in that you see there is a metal. So you need to find out what is the oxidation state of that particular metal, okay? And then I told you ligand, to calculate the oxidation state of the metal, you need to know what are the charges the ligand carry, okay? And how many ligands you have is only 4. Ammonia, then you have cyanide, then there is chloride, and then there is fluoride, okay? Only these 4 ligands are given to you. So you can remember ammonia is a neutral ligand, so charge on them is 0, okay? For ammonia, remember the charge is 0. Okay, cyanide, chloride and fluoride, they carry -1, -1, -1 charge. Okay, so the whole charge on them is just -1. For all these 3, the charge is -1. So using this, calculate what is the oxidation state of cobalt. Okay, cobalt, we don't know, so let it be X. Okay, so I am taking that as X. Plus, how many ammonia ligands are there? 6 are there. And charge of the ammonia is 0. So I can write 6 into 0. So 6 into 0, and then after that it is over. Okay, we are done with the complex part. Then you see what is the charge which they carry. Okay, the whole charge is equal to whatever charge they carry. That charge we have to write equal to plus 3. Okay, so it is equal to plus 3. If they don't carry any charge, it will be 0. Okay, equal to 0. So here plus 3 and 6 into 0 is 0 itself. So x is equal to what? Plus 3. So you will get to know that cobalt in this particular complex is in +3 oxidation state. Okay. So you need to keep them in +3 oxidation state. Cobalt, even though atomic number is 27, we write the electronic configuration in this way. Okay, I will write argon here and then write the inner orbital inside only. Okay. You don't write according to the Aufbau principle because you have to remove the electron. No? So to make the things easier, so you write based on the orbitals. Okay, don't write based on Aufbau principle. So here you will get to know that 3d is inside and 4s is outside. Okay, so 4s I am putting it outside. They have 2 electron, and 3d d orbital will have 7 electron. 27, no, so they will have 7 electrons in their outermost orbital. Okay, so here it's So here it is 7. Okay. So this is cobalt in the normal state. Okay. They are not in +3 oxidation state. Normal cobalt atom, how we write, is argon 3d7 4s2. Now they are in the complex, they are in +3 oxidation state. So what you have to do is, you need to remove 3 electron from this particular metal. Okay. So now I will write CO 3+. Now you should write 3+ here. Don't write 27. Okay, 3+ ion you write. This is enough. So now from here you have to remove 3 electron. Then it will be argon. You will have 3d 6, and then 4s 0, because I am removing 3 electron. So I removed from the last shell. When you are removing the electron, always from the outermost shell the electrons will go out first. Then they will come to the innermost shell. So I told you write them based on this order only. Okay, because the ligand, when they come and occupy, it will be in SPDF order only. So that is the reason you follow this. Okay. Now once this is over, students, then you will put them in the orbital. Okay, so I will write here orbital of CO 3+ ion. Okay, so I am writing the orbital now. Argon you don't write because they are not involved in the bonding process. What is involved is from here. Okay, that is from 3d6 to 4s. And d orbital has 5 divisions. So you can just write 5 divisions here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, then after that we have 4s orbital, which is empty. Then after that there is 4p orbital available. Okay, in the fourth shell you will see there is 4s, 4p and 4d, but they will be empty. Okay, and the electrons which are present, they are present only in the d orbital. Okay, so I will write down here it is 3d. And this is 4s, and here we have 4p. Okay. Now, how many electrons are there in 3d? 3d, the number of electrons are 6. So, fill this electron based on the Hund's rule. Initially, they should be singly occupied. Then they should start pairing up. Okay. So, I have put 6 electron all together in the d orbital. So, once you are done with this, okay, this is the initial adjustment which you have to keep it ready. And then you will go for the ligand. Then you see what type of ligand is approaching the metal atom. So you will get to know that it's ammonia, and ammonia is, I told you, it's a strong field ligand. So when the strong field ligand approaches the metal atom, what should happen to the electrons which are present in the d orbital? They should start pairing up. Okay, so you can add that point. If you can remember, you need not add. Okay, but I'm writing here the point, I'm explaining you in detail. So you can understand, and then in the exam also, if you want, you can write down. If you can remember, need not write. Okay, but here it's ammonia. So in the presence of NH3, that is ammonia ligand, okay, which is strong field ligand, you can mention, okay, that is strong field ligand, electrons pair up. Okay, so in the presence of a strong field ligand, you will see these electrons will start pairing up. So you pair these electrons up. Okay, so if you want to pair, you start from the last one, you put in the second orbital. I am putting this in the second orbital, and the second last I am putting in the third orbital. So I have shifted here. Then you show that shift. Okay, so I will show that shift over here, this side. So first orbital we had initially, which was already filled. Okay, now because of the strong field ligand, these orbital I am going to fill it up. Okay, so these two electrons, initially it was one, but then due to the ammonia ligand, this last electron came to the second orbital, I told you. So now we will get a pair. And in the third orbital also, we had only one electron, but due to ammonia, this last one, second last one has come to the third orbital. So even here we will have a pair. And the last two orbitals will become empty here. Okay, so these will be empty. And the 4s you write as it is. After that, 4p also you write as it is. Okay, so this 4p also I am keeping it as it is. So once this is over, this is 3d, 4s and then 4p. Okay, then you see how many ligands are coming. How many ligands are there? 6 ammonia ligands are there. So many orbitals, you have to mix them together. Okay, so those orbitals should undergo hybridization. So I told you initially that when the metal orbitals are available, okay, before the ligand come and occupy, these will undergo hybridization. Okay, whatever orbitals are there, okay, empty orbitals, depending on how many ligands are going to come, so many orbitals should be undergoing hybridization. So here you count 6 orbital from the empty orbital. Okay, starting from the empty orbital, 6 orbitals you have to count and then hybridize them. So here I can count from the 3d, 2 empty orbitals are available. So I am taking 2 orbitals from the d and then 1 s orbital. So altogether I'll get 3, plus I will get 3 from the 4p orbital. So this 6 orbitals I am going to mix together. Okay, so this will be undergoing hybridization. Okay, and what are those orbital? D2, sp3. So these will be the hybrid orbitals. Okay, because the characteristics will be of 2d orbital, 1s orbital and 3p orbital. So here what you can write is D2 sp3 hybridized, okay, or hybridized or hybrid orbital. Okay, hybridized orbital of which one? It is CO3 plus ion. Okay, of this ion hybridized orbital we are writing. So here you mix that hybrid orbital and write them separately. Okay, those hybrid orbitals, 6 orbitals are there, no? So you write them here. Okay, 6 orbitals I am putting them together. We have mixed them together and we are keeping them separately. These orbitals which are having filled electrons, you keep them separately. Okay, like this. So here we are having electrons which are paired. So that is of 3d orbital. That you keep separately because they are not involved in bonding. These are the mixed ones. So here you can write it is D2sp3. 6 are there. So 6 D2sp3 hybridized orbital. Okay. So here these are 6 D2sp3 hybridized orbital. Okay. So once it's over, now you will get the ligand. Okay, now you get the ligand and then put them inside that empty orbital which we have mixed them together and kept it. Okay, so that I will write it here on this side. I hope you are able to see it. Okay, so I'm writing it here. So in the third step, students, when you are writing, the first main step is about the orbital of CO3 plus. The second main step is D2sp3 hybridized orbital of CO3 plus ion. Okay, where we have kept the initial orbital separately and the hybrid orbital separately. After that, you will write directly the complex because the ligand is going to come and occupy the metal ion. No? So directly you can write the complex which is given to you in the question. Okay, so I am writing CONH3 6 3 plus. In that, these orbitals which we have filled and kept together, that you write as it is. Here these are filled and kept. Okay, I am writing it below. I don't have place, but you will write next to each other. Okay, and the next after that we are having this orbital, that is the hybridized orbital. So like that 6 are there. Okay, so this 6 hybridized orbital, in that you will distribute the pairs of electrons of the ligand. Okay, so we are going to put 2 electron pairs of the ligand, that is ammonia ligand. So 2 pair each I am going to distribute here. This is a one ligand, second one, third one, fourth, fifth, and then we have sixth one. Okay, so these hybridized orbitals are occupied by 6 ammonia ligands. So you can write here 6 D2sp3 hybridized orbital are occupied by 6 NH3 ligands. Okay, so only so much. It's very easy. If you are able to follow the VBT concept, only so much we have to do. So these are the main things. After that, they will ask you to write the details. Okay, what are the hybridization anyways you will get to know because you are doing it. Okay, you are mixing the orbital, so you know what is a hybridization. After that, they will ask you what is the geometry, what is the magnetic property, and type of complex. So hybridization anyways we are knowing it. Hybridization is supposed to be D2sp3. So if it is D2sp3 hybridization, what should be the geometry shown by this particular complex? Okay, D2sp3, you can go back and see there. If it is D2sp3, it has to be octahedral because 6 are there. No? So blindly you can write 6 ligand means obviously it has to be octahedral. Okay, so geometry is octahedral. And then get to the magnetic property. What will be the magnetic property? For finding out the magnetic property, you have to check the orbitals of the metals. You can see in the presence of strong field ligand, the electrons are pairing up. Okay, always remember, if you have a strong field ligand, for this 4 complex I'm talking about, if you have a strong field ligand, the electrons will pair up. Okay, so then it will be diamagnetic. So you can link like that and remember, strong field means it will be diamagnetic. Yes, so the magnetic property is diamagnetic in nature. They are diamagnetic in nature because the electrons are paired up. If you want, you can explain. Electrons are paired here in the metal. And the last one is a type of complex. Type of complex. You can see this orbital which are there. The d orbital is inside. So it is inner orbital complex. Okay, this particular complex is inner orbital complex. Inner orbital complex, I said there is one more name. It's also called as low spin complex. So you can write in the bracket low spin complex. I hope you are able to see this, students. I don't have a place here and I don't want to go for the next slide. Then you will miss out the whole thing. So I have written there only. Are you able to see the whole thing? In your screen, is the whole thing visible? Is it clear enough? Okay, fine. Yes, so this is all about the VBT, okay? So when VBT is given to you, make sure you study this and it's easy also. It is not difficult. I will do one more complex that is for weak field ligand. Now here I have done for strong field ligand. I will be doing the next one for the weak field ligand, okay? You can write down along with me so that you get a practice of it, how to do. Okay, now second one, I'm taking a nickel complex, okay? So I'm taking Ni Cl4 2 minus. Okay, so I've taken one nickel and the first one was about the cobalt. The remaining two you can practice by yourself. Okay, so first thing, find out what is the oxidation state. Don't see the charge and then write 2 minus. It is not 2 minus here. Okay, you need to calculate that. So nickel we don't know. I will write down that as X. Plus we have 4 chloride ion here. So 4, charge on the chloride ion is minus 1. So 4 into minus 1. The whole charge of the complex is minus 2. So you will get to know here the charge of the nickel ion will be minus 2 and this minus 4 I am taking that side. So it will be X is equal to plus 2. Okay. So the oxidation state of the nickel in this case is plus 2. Plus 2 is the oxidation state. Before that, the nickel atomic number. First write down the normal electronic configuration with atomic number 28. Okay. 28 is the atomic number. So we will get it like this, argon, and then write the d orbital first, 3d8 and then 4s2. This is the actual electronic configuration of nickel. But nickel in this case is in plus 2 oxidation state. That means you have to remove 2 electrons. Okay, we should remove 2 electrons in this case. Okay, because it is plus 2. 3 electrons, 3 plus if you have, then you will remove 3 electrons. So your nickel, you will write 2 plus ion. Okay. It is in plus 2 oxidation state. So I am going to take this particular electronic configuration and from this argon and 3d8 we can keep as it is. The last 2 electrons we are going to remove from the 4s orbital. Okay. So 4s orbital will not have any electron remaining when you remove 2 electrons. Okay. From the outermost shell you are supposed to remove the electrons. So only 2 we are supposed to remove. I have removed 2 though. Those 2 electrons from the 4s orbital. Okay, so this will be the electronic configuration for nickel plus 2 ion. Now put this in the orbital. Okay, so I am going to distribute this in the orbital. So we will write orbital of Ni 2 plus ion. Okay, so starting from the d orbital, 5 divisions we are having. And how many electrons are there? 8 are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and then 8. Okay. After that we have 4s orbital and then we have 4p orbital. Okay. P orbital has 3 divisions. So all that you keep in mind and write down correctly. So 3d, 4s and then 4p. Okay. So this is about the orbital of Ni2 plus ion. Then you have to check what type of ligand is going to approach this particular metal atom. The ligand which is going to approach the metal atom, it's a weak field ligand. Okay. So in the presence of Cl, which is a weak field ligand. Okay. Which is a weak field ligand. So you know in the presence of weak field ligand, electrons doesn't pair up. Okay. So here electrons does not pair up. Okay, electrons will not pair up in the presence of this weak field ligand. So here they are not allowing, the metal orbitals are not allowing, here in the d orbital I am talking about, these are not allowing the electrons of the ligand to come and occupy in this particular case. Okay, so what they have to do when these are not allowing, they have to search for the next empty orbital. So they are going in search of the next orbital. So they find that 4s is empty and then after that 4p is empty. So how many orbitals we need to mix together? This I need to keep it as it is, no, because they are not allowing. So we are keeping it as it is. These orbitals we will keep it. Okay, and 1 electron singly they are occupied. After that we have 4s and 4p orbitals. So here this we are not going to touch. 3d orbitals we can't take because chloride ion is not that strong enough so that they can pair these electrons up. So they have to go in search of the next orbital. Okay. So those next orbital is 4s orbital and total how many are required? 4 are required. So you mix only the 4 orbital. So these will be the 4 orbital. 1 4s orbital and 3 4p orbitals will undergo hybridization. Okay. So what will be the hybridization here? It will be sp3. 1 s orbital and 3 p orbital. So you can write here sp3 hybrid orbitals of Ni 2 plus ion. Okay. So in that case, this d orbital, you keep it as it is. 3 orbitals with paired electron and 2 orbital with unpaired electron. This you keep as it is. This you mix them together and combine and write it together. Okay. So I've mixed them together, and these 4 orbitals I'm combining and writing them together. So that is 4 sp3 hybridized orbitals. Okay. So in this 4 sp3 hybridized orbital, the chloride will come and occupy. Okay. So we will go for the next step now. The last step. Okay. So very important steps. Which are the important steps you need to, this you need to work out. Okay. This is the primary thing which you need to do. So one step is this. I will put a star mark here. Okay. This is the first step which you need to compulsory write in the exam. This I did. The next 2 steps which I have done, no, that is only for your understanding. If you want, you can skip this. These 2, I'll just put them in a flower bracket. These 2, if you want, you can skip. Then the next important step which you have to compulsory write is this one. I'm putting a star mark over there. And the next step which I'm going to write after this. Okay. So sp3 hybridized orbital of nickel we have got. So once this we have got, what you need to do is you need to put the electrons in that hybrid orbitals. Okay. So when you are putting that electrons in the hybrid orbital, how you are going to write is like a complex. Okay. Because the ligand also will come into picture that time. Metal orbitals and the ligands are combined together here. So you write the complex part. Okay. So 2 minus. Here d orbitals, I need to write it as it is. Single electron each. And then these are the 4 sp3 hybridized orbitals. So in that you will put 2 paired electron because it is Cl minus. Minus means they are having 2 electron pair. One, it's a monodentate ligand. Monodentate ligand will get 1 electron pair. It's not 1 electron pair they are going to get. So 2 electron I have put in each orbital. Okay, so here you can write 4 sp3 hybridized orbital is occupied by 4 Cl minus ligand. Okay, 4 chloride ligand. And then you give the details. Hybridization. Hybridization in this case is sp3. And then if it is sp3, you know what should be the geometry. If it is sp3, the geometry of this particular complex has to be tetrahedral. Okay, so the geometry is tetrahedral. And then come to the magnetic property. Magnetic property. So when you are explaining the magnetic property, check out the metal. You can see in the metal, the electrons are unpaired. Unpaired electrons are present. That means they will be paramagnetic in nature. Okay. So here, this particular orbital will be, like the complex will be paramagnetic in nature. And then the last is the type of complex. Type of complex. We don't have any d orbital here. So what you can write, whether they are high spin or low spin. It has to be high spin, no? Because unpaired electrons are more. Okay. More unpaired, more is the spin. So it is high spin complex. High spin complex. I hope everyone is able to follow this part. Did you all understand how to work out? How to like explain the complex using the VBT? Could you all reply, students, and tell me whether you have understood the whole concept of explanation? If you want, I can work out one more problem. If you want, let me know. One more. Okay, fine. Okay, I will do one more then. So I'll take this complex CO F6 3 minus. Okay. So in CO F6 3 minus, again first thing, find out the oxidation state. Cobalt I'm taking as X. Fluoride, you know, it's -1. So -1 into 6 will be -6. Whole charge is -3. Okay. So what will be the oxidation state? -3. This will become +6. So it will be +3. Correct? So +3 is the oxidation state of cobalt here. So first you write the electronic configuration of cobalt, which is 27. So argon I'm writing 3d7 and then 4s2 +3 oxidation state. So cobalt 3 plus iron, +3 means you remove 3 electrons. So remaining will be argon and then 3d6, 4s will be 0. 3 electrons I have removed. Okay, remove 3. From here you have to remove 3. +3, no? So we have to remove 3 electrons to get them in +3 oxidation state. And then distribute this in the orbitals. Okay, so we will write the orbitals of CO 3 plus ion. Okay, so here I am taking d orbital first. 6 electrons are there. So initially they are singly occupied, then I have paired them. And then we have 4s. After that there is 4p orbital. These are empty orbital, but you write those orbital because later we will require for the ligands to come and occupy. Okay, so that is the reason I'm just keeping them empty here, showing that they are available there. So here this is 3d and then you have 4s and then there is 4p orbital. Okay, so after this you have to check for the ligand. Now what type of ligand is fluoride here? The fluoride over here, it's a weak field ligand. Okay, so if you have a weak field ligand, will they allow these electrons to pair up? No, because they are not that strong enough. So electrons in the d orbitals will not pair up. Okay, so you can add a point. I'll just write a short form of it. Okay, so here fluoride, it's a weak field ligand. So weak field ligand, electrons will not pair up. Electrons will not pair. In this case, electrons doesn't pair up. So what they have to do? They have to go for the next orbital. So I will write these orbitals as it is. In the presence of fluoride, which is a weak field ligand, electrons doesn't pair up. So here, rest everything I am writing as it is. So for the ligands to come and occupy, we need to search for the next orbitals. How many orbitals we need to search? Altogether, we need to search for 6. So empty orbitals. Okay, you can't go for single occupied. One electron is there. Okay, we can put one more electron of ligand. That is not possible because one ligand will get 2 electron pairs. So in the orbital, it will become 3 electrons. That is not possible. Okay, like for example, if you are planning to put a ligand's electron over here, that won't be possible. Okay, why it is not possible? Because you can't have 3 electrons in one orbital, according to Pauli's exclusion principle. Okay, so that is the reason why minimum is only 2. Yes, after this, I said you need to search for only empty orbital. So 4s I can get 1 orbital and then from the p we can get 3 orbital. We need still no, because we need total 6 orbitals here. 6 fluoride ions are there. So 4 we have got. So go for the next orbital which is available, empty orbital. So write the whole orbital, draw the whole orbital, but how much is required? Take only so many. Okay, so this are 3d and then we have 4s. 4p and then we have 4d. Okay, it's in order s, p, d and then f. So here these are the d orbitals, 4d orbitals of the metal. So we require 1s, we require 3 p orbital and we would require 2 d orbitals. So we are going to mix all this depending on how many ligands are there. Okay, since we have 6 fluoride ions, we require 6 places for them. So we are going to mix all this together. So what will be the hybridization? S, P3 and D we have taken only 2. So it will be sp3 D2 hybridized orbital. Okay. Orbital of CO 3 plus ion. This orbital of 3D you write as it is because it's not going to take part anyhow. So you put the electrons as it is in them. The mixed orbitals, we are going to club them together and write. Okay. So total 6 are there, no? So 6 empty orbitals. So you can write here, it's 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbital. Okay, 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbital or hybridized orbital. That's fine. After this, go for the filling of the electrons in the orbital. Okay, so the last step, that will be the last step. So after this, when you are writing the last step, I have told you, you will directly write the complex. Okay, so I am going to write COF6 3 minus. In that, these orbitals will be as it is kept. That is, the 3D orbital will be kept as it is. Coming to the hybridized orbital, 6 are there. So in each hybridized orbital, one ligand will come and occupy, okay, with their 2 electron pairs. So here, this will be occupied by the fluoride ligands, okay. So you can write here 6 sp3d2 hybrid orbitals are occupied by 6 fluoride ligands. Done. Then give the details. Okay. That is the hybridization. You can see hybridization here. It's hybridization is sp3d2. What will be the geometry of this sp3d2 is octahedral only. No, 6 are there. So octahedral. Yes, octahedral. And then magnetic property. Can you tell me what will be the magnetic property? And then type of complex. Yes. Correct. No, it should be paramagnetic, because where you have to check out for the metals. In the metals, you can see only unpaired electrons are present. So that means it has to be paramagnetic. So they are paramagnetic in nature. And then type of complex, where is a d orbital? D orbital is outside. Last is a d, no? sp3d2. So then it is outer orbital complex, also called as high spin complex. Okay. High spin complex. Yes, I hope now it's clear for everyone. And one more complex is there, that is nickel CN4. The whole charge on them is 2 minus. That complex I want you to try, okay? And practice all these 4. Out of 4, any one will be given for your exam.